Hi, the Made by Google 2025 event just went down in New York, and wow, it was a flood of new stuff, wasn't it? So much stuff for real. The Pixel 10 family arrived with a bang and came along with updates for the watch, for the earbuds, and of course, a lot of artificial intelligence, the complete Google package.
Exactly. Today, we're going to dive into the announcements that got the most attention, right? The event even had Jimmy Fallon as the host, which was kind of different.
Yeah, a more pop format, so to speak. But our focus is to understand what really changed. Starting with the new Pixels, which are now 4 models. Look at that. 4 is a lot of options.
That's right. And we're going to talk about the Tensor G5 chip, which was highly anticipated, and the new features of the Gemini AI. Ready? So let's unpack it. Let's go. The event itself had this more dynamic vibe, right? Like you said, it was kind of a talk show. They called a bunch of famous people. Lando Norris from F1, Stephen Curry from the NBA, even the Jonas Brothers. An interesting mix, but the main event was the Pixel 10 line, right?
For sure. So we have the base Pixel 10, the 10 Pro, then comes the big one, the 10 Pro XL, and the foldable, the 10 Pro Fold. And the heart of all of them, the new chip, the Tensor G5. And that's where things get really interesting, because this Tensor G5 isn't just another chip, right? It marks an important strategic shift for Google.
How so? The fascinating thing here is the manufacturing.
For the first time, Google went to TSMC, the Taiwanese giant, right, that makes chips for Apple.
Exactly. Manufacturing on a 3 nanometer process, which is a super advanced process. This means they abandoned their partnership with Samsung, who made the old Tensors, which were based on Exynos.
Oh, so it's a big change indeed, a huge one. It gives Google a lot more control over the chip's design. It becomes more similar to what Apple does, you know?
Optimizing the hardware for their software, especially for AI, I imagine.
Precisely, they can create a custom chip for AI needs, which is the big hallmark of the Pixel, right?
That makes perfect sense. But what about the performance? Because the previous Tensors struggled a bit to compete, right? Especially in the foldables, there was that feeling of an expensive phone with mid-range performance.
Right? That was the criticism, and it seems Google listened. There were leaks before the event. Google didn't officially confirm any of this.
Of course, there are always leaks, right?
Always. But they indicated some pretty significant improvements, like 73% more CPU on N22, 30% more in multi-core on Geekbench. That's for the Fold model. If it's true, it's a huge leap.
Wow, 73%. Now that's what I'm talking about. But those same leaks also raised a red flag, a possible 12% drop in graphics performance on the GPU.
Huh, the GPU dropped. That's strange.
That's right. The speculation is that they might have swapped the Mali GPU for one from Imagination, or maybe the drivers weren't optimized yet during the leaked tests. Google glossed over that at the event, so the doubt remains.
I see. But the main focus of this shift to TSMC seems to be boosting the CPU and especially AI processing. Okay, I understand the chip strategy. Now let's talk about the Pixel 10, the entry-level model. This one brought something I've been asking for a long time.
The third camera.
Exactly. Finally, a telephoto with a 5x optical zoom on the base model. That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
For sure. It democratizes a feature that was previously only for the pros. Plus, of course, it comes with the Tensor G5 and now with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Much better.
Yes, a solid upgrade. The screen remains at 6.3 inches, FHD plus 120 Hz. The colors are obsidian black, a light frost blue, and a more vibrant indigo blue. And the best part for me, the price. The price didn't go up. In the United States, it's still $799 for the 128 gigabyte and $899 for the 256 gigabyte.
Maintaining a price point these days is a victory. I totally agree. And that good news extends to the Pro and Pro XL models. They share the same base, but they have their differences, right? What are the main ones?
The 10 Pro has cameras that Google called more advanced with additional features. They didn't detail much, but we know the Pixel's magic is largely in the software, right?
Yes, in computational photography.
Exactly. It also comes with more RAM, 16 gigabytes, and goes up to 1 terabyte of storage. The Pro XL is basically for those who want a bigger screen, 6.8 inches versus 6.3 inches on the Pro, and more battery, 5,200 milliamp hours versus 4,870.
I see. And what do these Pro models have in common? Both have these OLED LTPO screens that vary the refresh rate to save energy, up to 120 hertz.
The brightness is super high, 3,300 nits, great for using outdoors, and Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection on the front and back. And any news on charging?
Besides the power, 30 watts on the Pro and 45 watts on the Pro XL? Yes, there is. And it's pretty cool. They adopted a new Q2 wireless standard of 15 watts, but Google's move was to put the magnets directly on the phone.
Oh, like Apple's MagSafe?
That's right, they called it Pixel Snap. They showed off their own accessories, but the best thing is that it's compatible with the MagSafe ecosystem, which already exists. A smart move for people who already own those accessories.
That's really good. One less standard for us to worry about, and the colors and prices of the Pros?
The Pro comes in moonstone gray, obsidian black, porcelain white, and a soft jade green. Prices abroad are from $999 for 128 gigabytes up to $1,449 for 1 terabyte. The Pro XL starts at $1,199 and goes up to $1,549 for 1 terabyte. A bit pricey, but within expectations for a top-of-the-line device.
Yeah, and the cameras on both Pros are identical. 50 megapixel main, 48 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 48 megapixel telephoto as well. Now with a tele macro mode. The selfie camera is 42 megapixels, and it has optical and electronic stabilization on the main and telephoto lenses.
Google is confident saying they have the best cameras and screens on the market. That's their bet, right? Software and AI making the difference in the photo.
Exactly. Now let's move on to the foldable. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Man, there was one thing about this that left me speechless. It evolved a lot, didn't it? Bigger screens, an external 6.4 inch and internal 8 inch, high brightness too at 3,000 nits, a larger battery at 5,015 milliamp hours with faster charging 50% in half an hour.
Did the hinge get better too?
Yes, they said it's more robust with steel and aerospace grade aluminum. It got a little thicker, but I think for the larger battery, it's worth it. But what really got me was the IP68 certification.
Oh yes, that's a milestone, right?
Definitely. The first foldable in the world with total protection against dust and water. Dust has always been the fear with these devices, right? Samsung's, for example, are IPX8. They can handle water but not dust.
Exactly. Managing to seal the hinge like that is a remarkable engineering feat, and it might be what was missing for a lot of people to lose their fear of buying a foldable, right?
For sure. It gets rid of that image of a super fragile device. It's almost like, okay, now it's truly ready for daily life.
Totally. And inside, the configuration is the same as the Pro's. Tensor G5, 16 gigabytes of RAM.
That's right, same chip, 16 gigabytes of RAM, up to 1 terabyte of storage, and it also has Q2 with Pixel Snap, and the cameras on the Fold are a 48 megapixel main, a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10.8 megapixel telephoto with a really good 5x optical zoom, and it also has a 20x super res zoom.
5x optical on a foldable is excellent. And two 10 megapixel selfie cameras, one outside and one inside. And the price for this little beauty must be the most expensive.
Yes, it is. In the United States, it's between $1,799 and $2,149. Okay. And is there anything else in common among all the Pixel 10 models?
Yes, a few points. They kept the SOS via satellite. The fingerprint readers are now ultrasonic, so they should be faster. And there's that cool bonus on the Pro and Pro XL models, a 1-year subscription to Google AI Pro, which includes 2 terabytes of cloud storage and the most advanced AI features.
That adds value, huh? A lot, considering that the storage alone is expensive.
And the software, of course, comes with the latest Android, the Trial 3 expressive interface, and the promise of 7 years of updates, receiving everything first.
Great. Now AI seems to have been the watchword of the event, right?
Totally. AI is permeating everything. We saw that, didn't we? Or hey, that feature that animates a still photo. I saw the example of the dog singing karaoke.
I found it a bit bizarre, but impressive. Yeah, it's different and it runs directly on the phone. It's part of the Google AI Pro plan, the Gemini Live, which is their multimodal AI that understands text, voice, and image.
That's right. It's smarter, more integrated into the phone, the watch, the earbuds, even in the car and the Google Nest. The idea is for Gemini to be the center of everything.
I see. They also showed the so-called magic tool. What exactly is that? It's predictive shortcuts based on AI. The example they gave was, you receive a text message and dinner. The AI looks at your gallery, your calendar, finds the restaurant reservation, and already suggests a reply.
Very futuristic, something straight out of a movie.
And for the camera, there's the camera coach giving framing tips while you take a photo, and conversational editing where you ask the AI to adjust the photo by saying what you want, like make this brighter here or reframe to highlight the person.
Wow. But what shocked me the most was the real-time translation with the person's own voice. That was impactful, right? Seeing Jimmy Fallon speaking Spanish with his own voice.
The speed and quality of the voice cloning are impressive.
Very. But then the reflection remains, right? An AI that animates our memories, that speaks for us in another language with our own voice. How does this change things? Our relationship with the content we want with communication is a fundamental question.
Google is betting everything on AI as a differentiator. It's not just a feature, it's the experience itself. And in the cameras, it reinforces that idea. The AI processed result matters more than the raw hardware. It's their great strength being put to the test.
Makes sense. And besides the phones, there was more, right? The Pixel Watch 4.
Yes, the watch was updated. The biggest visual change was in the charger. Now it connects on the side and charges much faster. They said 50% in 15 minutes.
Great. Smartwatch battery is always a critical point.
Exactly. They also launched a dock to keep it standing while charging. It's still in two sizes, 41 and 45 millimeters, with Wi-Fi or LTE versions.
They improved health monitoring, integration with the other Pixels, and of course, Gemini is there for voice commands. And did the battery itself increase?
It increased a little bit. The prices remained the same as the last generation, from $349 to $499. And it comes with 6 months of Fitbit Premium and 1 month of YouTube Premium. Good news overall for the watch. And to complete the lineup, we had 2 new Pixel Buds.
Which ones? The Pixel Buds 2A, which is the more affordable model, got a really nice upgrade. Active noise cancellation, ANC. Before, that was only on the Pro. Ah, that's good. It made it more competitive.
Yes, it also got spatial audio, but without the head tracking. The battery improved a bit. 7 hours on the earbuds, 20 with the case, but it still doesn't have wireless charging on the case. It costs $129. And the Pixel Buds Pro 2, which also had a new one launched. The highlight Google gave was an integration of Gemini with ANC.
How so? The example was you're in a noisy place like a bar, you activate ANC to cancel the noise, but you can talk to the Gemini AI as if you were in a quiet place.
The AI kind of cleans up the audio for your interaction with it. It's an interesting use.
Curious, huh? A different application for AI and earbuds?
That's right. They didn't say much about other sound or battery improvements, but they must exist. Okay, and when does all this actually arrive? It's already for sale. Pre-orders started in the United States. The Pixel 10, 10 Pro, and 10 Pro XL start shipping there on August 28th.
But the Foldable, the Fold, the Watch 4, and the new Buds had a small delay. They only arrive on October 9th there. And in Brazil?
Yeah. In Brazil, we know, right? Officially, Google doesn't usually bring these products. Unfortunately, anyone who wants them will have to import them. It's a real shame. Well, to wrap things up then, let's do a summary. What are the big takeaways from this Made by Google event?
Well, I'd say there are a few key points. First, the Tensor G5. It's the big bet for performance, especially on the Fold, and to be the home for Google's AI. Second, AI is in everything. It's the unifying thread of the ecosystem and the clear differentiator they're looking for.
Yes, Gemini camera translation, it's everywhere.
Exactly. Third, the innovation in the foldable with IP68. That's an important milestone for the category. It can help popularize it.
I agree. Durability was a weak point. Fourth, the ecosystem became stronger and more cohesive. The updated watch and buds and the adoption of Q2 with Pixel Snap, which makes life easier with accessories. And last but not least, maintaining the prices of the main line and still adding value with the software bonuses.
That's an aggressive and very good strategy for the consumer.
Great summary. And there's that final thought we mentioned, right? With this AI that's so powerful, so personal, recreating our voice, animating our photos. Where does this take us? How are we going to deal with these tools that seem to have come out of science fiction but are already here?
Exactly. It's something for us to keep thinking about and watching as it develops, for sure.
And with that provocation, we conclude our analysis of Google's launches. We hope this conversation has helped you better understand what's coming in the Android universe.